Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and this is Sonic Chaos, or Sonic and Tails as it was called in Japan when it was later released as a Game Gear game. This is the last Sonic game that's 8-bit to get a well-known Master System release. I mean, Sonic Blast had a very obscure Master System version that was only released in Brazil for some reason. I don't know why, because everyone complains about screen crunch. But yeah, this game is originally called Sonic and Tails, and the reason for this is that this is the first 8-bit Sonic game where you can play as Tails. And of course, he sort of breaks the game because he can fly. I'll talk about Tails later. Long story short, he's not nearly as fun to play as he is in the Genesis games. Oh yeah, when I first tried to play this game on my Wii Virtual Console, it failed to load. Wow. This starts the trend of 8-bit Sonic games having rip-offs of Green Hill Zone that try to pretend they aren't by having similar names. There's a spin dash here, which is pretty awesome. This is the first 8-bit Sonic game to have a spin dash. Which is really weird because you know, Sonic 2 for the Game Gear in Master System, it didn't have a spin dash, even though Sonic 2 was when the spin dash was introduced. Yeah, those things that just used were rocket shoes. This is the first 8-bit Sonic game to introduce power-ups. Because most Sonic games don't have power-ups of this variety, but I really like how the rocket shoes have this theme that it makes it very obvious when it's going to run out, so you know exactly when you're going to fall. And you're always pushing forwards when you use the rocket shoes, and it really sucks trying to turn around because you keep your momentum, but it's very, very rare that you'll ever try to turn around with the rocket shoes, if at all. So it's not really a problem. But your momentum's also kind of slippery when you're moving up and down, so it can make trying to collect things really precisely very awkward. But that's only a problem in the first special stage. I'm not going to be doing all of the special stages, but I'll show them all off. Yeah, these enemies obviously have springs on them that you can use to launch yourself upwards. So you have to use the spin dash against them to kill them. I don't know why you push against the side of those slopes instead of just running up them. It's really weird. And what's with 8-bit Sonic games and having invisible springs? I don't understand why they thought that was a good idea. It's weird how they give you a speed indicator after you beat levels. And I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. I mean, it's also really weird because it clearly shows a number that's way above the speed of sound. And it's not like Sonic was boosting through the level or anything, so I don't know. But yeah, this game has a spin dash, and it's pretty awesome because it makes the game a lot faster. Although I don't think the level design in... I really liked Sonic 1 and 2 MS because I thought they had really great platforming. Sonic Chaos and Triple Trouble really aren't about platforming, but they also aren't about providing a really fun and fast experience either. They don't have level design with a huge amount of slopes like they do in the classic games. I mean, they have a lot of loops, but there's also a lot of walls. This boss is kind of annoying because you have to constantly spin dash into it once at a time, over and over again. And you always seem to be facing the wrong way after you get knocked back from the spin dash. So it's really easy. The boss doesn't do anything against you. It's just tedious, that's all. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about the levels because, well, other than the fact that there's too many walls that stop you from going to the right, and like, there's not enough slopes and loops. Oh, here's an example of, no, it's not there yet, but yeah, Sonic Chaos, it starts the trend of having less good physics for the 8-bit Sonic games, because the controls in Sonic 1 for Master System were perfect. You know, you always felt like you were going exactly where you wanted to go. Starting with Sonic Chaos, they jacked up the momentum for the physics. And it feels really weird. Like, Sonic is slipping and sliding all over the place, and... Well, I don't think I'm showing it off yet. No, maybe it's in Act 2, but... Sometimes when you try to spin dash... When you spin dash all the way up to a spring to get to launch you up a slope, then you have to let go of the D-pad for it to launch you high enough. Or something like that. Just the physics are kind of weird. They changed the Chaos Emerald system in this game. Basically what you're supposed to do is collect 100 rings. And then you'll be automatically transferred all the way over to the special stage. And there's completely different special stages for every emerald. Although there are different types of special stages, so it's not like every single special stage is unique in its own way. I think this is supposed to be a city level. It looks pretty nice. I like the soundtrack for this game, but it's not nearly as memorable or consistently great to me as in Sonic 1 MS. I feel like a lot of the tracks are just improvising. Oh yeah, here it is. Here's an example of how the physics suck. Yeah, that probably wouldn't happen in Genesis games. But I like this game. I like this game quite a bit. One of the reasons I like this game is that you can actually collect rings before fighting the boss. Which is awesome. That's what they should have done from the very beginning. And good thing too, because the bosses starting with Sonic Chaos in the 8-bit Sonic games are ridiculously frustrating. I mean look, it knocked my ring out, and then the ring rose up and vanished and I wasn't able to collect it. In theory, you can make the bosses of Sonic Chaos ridiculously easy by repeatedly bouncing on the heads of the bosses. It's always the head that's the weak spot. It's not until Sonic Triple Trouble that the bosses get ridiculously cheap and frustrating. But still, I hate the bosses in this game. You're always guaranteed to constantly be getting hit. It's like, you get knocked up because you jump into him. And then when you're falling down, trapped in the stun animation, you have no choice but to land on the spears. What? And it's very clearly a Pokey ripoff. You know, Pokey from Super Mario World. He looks awful, by the way. Although a lot of people say that Sonic Chaos is a really easy game. I don't really agree with that. I mean, the first couple levels are pretty easy. But the bosses are hard. And after a certain point in the game starts getting frustrating. It's not nearly to Sonic Triple Trouble's extent, though. Yeah, I find this a time waster. I wish you could just... I mean, why can you only break the blocks one vertical row at a time? I mean, this is so tedious. It's wasting my time so much. I would like it if I could just move in any direction while I'm breaking through the blocks, but instead I can only move up. But yeah, usually when people play this game and they're trying to 100% it, they spend every level, or almost every level anyways, trying to collect as many rings as they can so that they can get into the special stage. Unfortunately, there are a lot of levels in this game where it's really difficult to get all of the rings, especially Mecha Green Hill Zone. Sometimes the rings are scattered around in places where it's hard to find them, or they're scattered really far away from each other, or the level is really cheap and it's really easy to get hit a lot. So there's some levels where it's just not worth trying to get all the special stages. And why are there multiple different levels in the same game that have the word egg in it? I mean, Sleeping Egg Zone is Well, first of all, it's not even close to the final level, and usually levels with the word egg in it in Sonic games tend to be around the final level. And second, Electric Egg Zone is going to be coming up sooner or later, and it's in the same game as this, so it's kind of feels lazy. There's Electric Egg Zone and there's Sleeping Egg Zone. I love the way this level looks though. Like the ground you're walking on. It kind of gives off an ancient ruins vibe. But yep, you're in a special stage now. When I first played this game, all I did was I collected rings. And I was able to grind up a lot of lives this way. I wish you could do that in Sonic 1 8-bit, because Sonic 1 8-bit I found a lot easier to get a game over in, and the reason I resorted to using an emulator was because there's no way to grind for lives in that game. No way nearly as great as in Sonic 2 MS with Green Hill Zone anyway. And I just wish you could grind for lives in Sonic 1 MS, but instead they introduced life grinding in Sonic Chaos and Triple Trouble, which are considered to be really easy. Which sucks, I mean. Yeah, just stay in the center. Just stay in the center, because if you keep moving up and down trying to collect all of the rows of rings, then you're probably going to pass by the Chaos Emerald, or you won't get there fast enough. But if you don't know that it's coming up and you have to stay in the center, then you're probably going to miss out on it the first time. But yeah, these are spring shoes. And they have a lot of momentum to them, so you have to be really careful when you're using them, because if you smack into a wall, then you'll get knocked all the way back, and then you'll have to go find another one. Well, they don't usually despawn, which is good at least. Ugh, why does every boss in this game have projectiles? Or nearly every boss anyway. It feels really cheap that this guy is not only jumping really high in the air to make jumping onto him difficult, which is the only way to attack him by the way, but he's also constantly shooting projectiles at you that are nearly impossible to dodge when you're in front of him, and you're always in front of him. Because he's on the right side of the screen. It's not really possible to be behind him, because he jumps so high that jumping behind him is not really something that's going to happen, especially without being hit by the projectiles. Although I do have a lot of continues, so I have a lot of continues and a lot of lives. So it's not that this game isn't hard in the sense that it's easy to get a game over in it. In fact, the only time I ever got a game over in this game was in this level right here. I found this to be pretty difficult. Those things. You have to be holding right on them. You have to have forward momentum on them, or you'll automatically fall off them for no reason whatsoever. And you have to stay away from the lower root of this level, because there's a lot of those horizontal pillars that you'll fall off them if you aren't running at them. And a bottomless pit is beneath them. So I died here when I first played the game because I didn't know what you were supposed to do. And I ended up losing all my lives to bottomless pits. So I have bad memories of this place. I love the aesthetic though. I mean, I think this is a concept they should try again. A mechanized Green Hill Zone. Or a mechanized meadow area in general. Although, this level has a lot of areas where you can get hit. I don't know why the badniks from the very first level in the game are here. And oh, wonderful. You stand on a spring and then it sends you straight into a ceiling of spikes. Yeah, that's fair. Totally not cheap at all. The spikes are weird in that, unlike in the Genesis games, you don't get stopped by them. You just run into the sides and then you get hurt. And the coconuts are really annoying because you jump into them and then you get hurt, even though they really don't look like they should be able to hurt you. Like, what are they, radioactive or something? But when I first played this game, I just spammed the first special stage over and over, collecting all of the rings I could to get all the lives that I could. And the cool thing about the giant rings is that they give you a lot more rings than usual. Like, I think a giant ring gives you 10 rings or something, but I'm not really sure. This game is really easy, or at least the levels are anyways, and it's really short as well. But I don't think that people should be completely dismissive of it just because of that. I mean, if it's still a fun time, I don't really see why it's not worth playing, at least. If you're standing below the boss when it comes down, when it first shows up, then you'll get crushed by it. It's an insta-kill attack. But yeah, this boss fight is ridiculously easy. Literally all you do is bounce on his head and he dies. Even his projectiles aren't that annoying because, again, you're just bouncing on his head, so you're avoiding all of them. This game was developed by Aspect Co., and so was Sonic 2 for the Master System. Ancient was the company that helped develop Sonic 1 for the Master System. See you in the next part.